Indian Air Force has issued a request for information to procure 10 counter unmanned aircraft systems through the indigenous route within 1 year after the contract is signed. Now, this comes right after the Jammu and Kashmir drone attack. For more, Shivani joins me from Delhi. Shivani, give us more details. This, of course, does come right after the drone attack that we saw at a Jammu air base, and in a sense is a bit urgent.
Nupur, this RFI was issued by the Indian Air Force the very next day after the twin drone attacks in Jammu on 27th of June. And this RFI, which means the request for information, is inviting companies of from India that will be providing counter unmanned aircraft system. That means these equipment or these systems will be capable of fighting the drones, the future attack that has been claimed by all the experts, that now we have to prepare for these anti-drone and unmanned aerial vehicle systems that are being used by the terrorists as a new way of attack as our strategy. So the Indian Air Force is now has invited companies to give their tenders or give their proposals for these 10 counter anti-drone systems, and after this will be signed, in 1 year these companies will have to give these 10
all right, Shivani, I'm going to come back to you. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi on the phone line with me. Good morning, Wing Commander. We do know that the IAF has now issued, basically asked for information for about 10 of these anti-drone systems. But India obviously does need to pick up pace with anti-drone measures, because they do seem to be the new threat that is emerging as far as terrorism is concerned. Your views?
Well, to tell you the truth, the industrial revolution always came late to India. Whenever there was a revolution in military affairs, we have always been left behind and dragged behind because our doctrines don't think about these things. However, Pakistan has gained, march over us. They already have a drone system which can launch missiles. They have all these systems available with them. The question is, the anti-drone system which we are talking of, these are going to be now acquired. The Air Force does have some systems, but basically they were aimed at larger drones and helicopters, etc., at the larger bases. Jammu basically was not that in the order of priority at that important a base to get those systems. But however, having seen the vulnerability of Jammu, the ATF has decided to place the systems and get 10 more systems, which would be, will be working on low frequency, jamming the GPS system of the incoming drones. You see, the small drones are so small that they cannot be picked up by the normal radar. So that is why they have now they're catering for these. The normal attacking drones were big. Every country was catering for those. But now suddenly the toy drones are being turned into weapon systems, and to get them, they have to have different systems which work on different frequencies, especially jamming their navigation system, the GPS system. If you jam the GPS system of a drone, the drone falls down. The question is this, so that is what they must be doing. And then there are special weapon systems which inundate the approach area by so many bullets that the drone gets hit. Otherwise, it is if you cannot detect it, you cannot hit it. That is the main thing. So this is what the thing, and then the laser aspects are being thought of, where the laser gun will be fired as a drone, the directed energy system which they are talking of. Initially, people were very reluctant even in the world to use this, but now they are going to use it. So that is why these will come up. So seeing the sensitivity of that area, and now it warrants that we have these systems, and that is why Air Force has now taken the decision. Better late than never.
Absolutely. Wing Commander Bakshi, thank you for joining us with your viewpoint. Let me go back to Shivani now. Shivani, as the Wing Commander was pointing out, of course, Jammu is perhaps just being looked as a trailer at, what could be a larger picture as India continues to fight this new threat, because it can be used, by both state and non-state actors, and that is what makes it all the more challenging, isn't it?
Yes, Nupur, we know that after what happened in Jammu, a lot of statements from the army have also come up, and from CDS also, who has said that the drones are the future weapons, and we need to be prepared for this threat. And not only here, but India has also apprised the UN about this new kind of weapon system that's being used by terrorists, especially after the Jammu attacks. And that's how the whole strategy of Indian Defence Forces to acquire anti-drone systems has been sped up. Now, the Indian Air Force has invited companies for 10 counter and unmanned aircraft system, which will be deployed across the nation on important establishments, and this would be done within a year after the whole contract is being signed. And moreover, we know that Indian Defence Forces are transforming exponentially indigenously, so the priority is being given to the indigenous countries, the indigenous manufacturers for this 10 CUAS also, so that Indian companies and the dependence of India's defence forces is controlled, and India is self-reliant in defending itself. And we also know that the DRDO has already come up with an anti-drone system that would jam any drones and unmanned aerial vehicles from a range of 2.5 to 3 kilometers. So much is being done, and now this is another step which would speed up the acquiring of these anti-drone systems to defend our forces and to be prepared against these threats of drones and unmanned aerial vehicles being used by the terrorists.